All right, welcome Algebra 2. Let's do this. We will continue with graphing. This will be lesson number 2. And the essential question that we have for today's lesson is, what does the intersection of two graphs represent? So what I'd like you to do is, here we have our first graph of y equals x minus 2, and we have the second graph of y equals x squared plus 2x minus 8. What I'd like you to do is fill in the table for each of the functions, and then on the back of your page, you should be able to graph each of these two functions, okay? So here, if you want, feel free to pause the video and try this on your own and resume when you want to check. But what I'd like you to do is, one, have this in your notes, right? If you want, you could pause the video real quick and just have this down, right? Pause the video, write this down. Okay, let's say you resume. And now here, what I'd like us to do is, let's find the points for the first graph, right? So if we have y equals x minus 2, how do you know where the points are, right? So let's take a look. Let me fix this. Let me turn the light on. This looks nice. Let's focus on over here, right? So what do I do? Here, my x value is -4. So anywhere I see x, I'm just going to plug in -4, right? We want to find that y value. So we have y equals, what do we do? -4 minus 2. Right? And what would that equal? Pause the video, right? What is -4 minus 2? Right? If you want to just check with the calculator, right? How do I put this into the calculator? Where is my negative symbol? Right here. -4 minus 2. And that will be -6. And notice, what did we create? We created a point. This is -4, -6. Right? So when we actually create our graph, where is this point -4, -6? Right? Once we create the graph, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, right? -1, -2. If you want, you could have this down, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -6, right? Okay. And where will this point be, right? -4, -6. Where will that point be, right? I go 4 to the left and 6 down. And then bam, that is my point. And that's what I would like you to do for all of these questions, for all of these points for the graph y equals x minus 2, right? If you want, pause the video and try it on your own. Or if you want, we can do it together, right? If you want to do this together, just watch it with me, right? What do we say? Y equals, and I could do this for all of them, right? I can just say y equals, right? And then what am I substituting in here? -3, -2, -1, 0, 1. And I'm subtracting 2. Try this on your own. Please don't just look at the answers, right? If you want to check what's -3 minus 2, -5, -4, -3. And these are the points. There should be -3, -5. That's my point. -2, -4. -1, -3. 0, -2. 1, -1. 2, 0. 3, 1. 4, 2. Okay. Great. And if you want, you could turn the page the other side and graph these points, right? These are the points I created Now, where would I actually go to graph these points? Let's see. The first point, -4, -6 is right here, and if you want, you could just show it like this. You could show it tiny. Right? What's the next one? -3, -5 is where? -2, -4 is here. And notice, what's the pattern? Right? Where's my next point? -1, -3. 0, -2. 1, -1. 2, 0. 3, 1. 4, 2. And notice that because it's a line, right? One thing I could do is I could just connect the line like this. It'll just go on for infinity, right? From the left and the right side, it's still going to continue that pattern. Great. So in the red, we have this line, y equals x minus 2. All right, let's try it for the next one. What do we have? We have x squared plus 2x minus 8. How do I plug in these numbers into here, right? So you could say the same thing, y equals, y equals, y equals, right? And then every time you want to substitute the number, you could put in the parentheses, right? So this is a parentheses, and what am I going to put in here? You see, anywhere I see x, I'm going to put in -5, and then squared plus 2 times -5 minus 8. Right? And I have to do this for every single point, right? What would the next one be? This would be what am I going to put in here? This is -4 squared plus 2 times -4 minus 8. Right? And how would we do that with no calculator? Let's try like the first one. If I had -5 squared plus 2 times -5 minus 8. Right? What would this be? How do I do -5 squared? I could show this on the side. What is -5 squared? This is just -5 times -5, which is positive 25. So notice 25 is here. 2 times -5 is -10 minus 8. What is 25 minus 10 is 15 minus 8, which is 7. And what does that 7 represent? The y value, right? When I plug in -5 into this function, I get positive 7. And that's a point. This is -5 comma 7. Great, you found 1 point. What I'd like you to do is try and find the points for every single other one, right? If you feel like this might be a lot of work to do this, grab your best friend. Where is your best friend? Ah, this is your best friend. How do I do this in the calculator, right? Like if I wanted to do, like the one we just did right here, right? We just did, I'll show it here, like this -5 squared plus 2 times. Like how do I put it into the calculator? Let's take a look. And hopefully it's okay to see. Let me do this. Okay. So here we're going to plug in, what should we do first? First is parentheses. So parentheses, -5, close. Now where's the square button on the calculator? This is the square, right here. Square. What's next? Plus 2, parentheses, -5, close, minus 8. Bam. And it gives me 7. You could try it for the next one. Like imagine if I wanted to do the same thing, and maybe I'll show it here so you can see it a little bit better. How would I do it for -4? Right, I do parentheses, -4, close, square, plus 2 times -4 minus 8. 0. Right. So then notice this one is 0. what I'd like you to do is fill in the rest of the points. Okay? Fill in the rest of the points. And this is what? -4, comma 0. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have all the answers very soon. But what I would like you to do is try it on your own. Pause the video and try and find every point, and we'll see if you made any mistakes. So here, let's see, what would they be? This should be, you should have gotten -5 here, -8, -9, -8, -5, 0, and 7. These are the points. And then what will it be? It'll be -3, -5, -2, -8, -1, -9, 0, -8, 1, -5, 2, comma 0, 3, comma 7. Right? These are all the points for the quadratic. Okay? And I assume that you tried for each one. Okay, but what should we do? We need to graph it over here. So what I'd like you to do is take your time, pause the video, right? And graph these over here. So these are the points. How would I graph these points over here on your paper, right? Well, what's the first point? It's -5, comma 7. Where is -5, comma 7? And notice I'm going to put it in purple. -5, -7. I'm sorry, -5, positive 7 is here, right? And let's say there's a 7 over here, right? So that's one point. -4, comma 0 is another point. -3, -5 is another point. What do you notice? The line y equals x minus 2 and this have the same point at x equals -3, right? They have the same y value of -5. This is -2, -8, which should be here, here. Let me do this. Let me zoom out a little bit. This one is here. This one is here. Oh, did I make a mistake? At 0, it's at, this is -7, this is -8. At 0, -8, 1, -5, 2, comma 0. 3, comma 7. No mistake. Okay, and this is the graph. And then I'll show it in purple. What's happening here? Notice that I connect this for the parabola. If I'm going to connect all the points. And voila, this is my graph of y equals x squared plus 2x minus 8. Okay, well, what are some things you notice about the purple graph and the red? It looks like the red graph, right, the line, is intersecting the parabola at two locations. Notice it's at -3, -5, and what's the other one? 2, comma 0. Those are the 2 points where both the graphs intersect. And now let's just go back to our notes real quick. What is the essential question of today? It's saying, what does the intersection of the two graphs represent? So here, I'm going to show you something very cool. Let's take a look at this. Imagine if I have y equals x minus 2 and y equals x squared plus 2x minus 8. Is this a true equation if I say y equals y? Right? I could say that for anything. I could say like 7 equals 7. Right? I could do that for anything. Alpha equals alpha. So notice that y is equal to y. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute these in. Because what's one value of y? It's x squared plus 2x minus 8. What's another value of y? It's also x minus 2. Now, if I were to say, hey, solve for x, how would you do this? Right? How would you solve for x? So, something to know, This is what type of equation? It is quadratic. And this is from yesterday's notes. Why is it quadratic? The highest exponent is 2. Oops, sorry. The highest exponent is 2. Now, how to solve quadratic equations? We want 0. You want 0 on one side. So notice that here with this equation, I want the right side to equal 0, not the left side, because you want to keep this intact. So watch what I do. If I want the right side to be 0, what do I have to do to the x and the minus 2? Well, the opposite of positive x is negative x, so I have to do negative x, and I put that here. And then I also have to do what? If I see a negative 2, I'm going to do a plus 2 and a plus 2 here. Then, let's see what happens. Now I have x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Now that I have this, here I could get to this point, 1 second.